The Sopranos is one of the greatest shows of all time I have seen, and I haven't even finished it. I'm on season 5 and I need to talk about everything I've seen. To the character development, to the plot, to the characters, and to the comedic aspects of the show, I need to talk about it. Before I watched The Sopranos, I had no idea of the lore or any spoilers. I only knew that this was a movie about the mafia. The only clip I was exposed to was Christopher trying to scam a guy in the fish market, but that's really it. Anyways, let's get right into it.
Over here.
When I started watching season 1, I realized that this show has this kind of format to it. In the first 6 episodes, you get introduced to the characters and the story builds up, but on episodes 6 to 13, everything gets very intense. The pilot episode was a very good start and an introduction to the whole show. The information the show gives you is very digestible. There's a guy called Tony Soprano, and he's the main boss of this family.
I'm the motherfucking one who calls the shots.
Tony, the mafia boss, is seeing a psychiatrist in secret. He has a crew, and the crew consists of Christopher Moltisanti, Big Pussy, Silvio,
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
and Paulie.
How about you? It might be your first ball job.
Yeah, of course.
How long did it take for the guy to come?
The rest of the characters are supporting characters like Hesh. The crew's introduced by them sitting in the Satrials. Silvio shows up late and shakes Tony's hand, and he tells Tony that Uncle Junior, Tony Soprano's uncle, who's also a mobster, is trying to kill somebody in Artie Bucco's place, a chef that is well acquainted with Tony Soprano and his crew. The cinematography in this show is phenomenal and way ahead of its time. I can understand why Vince Gilligan, the producer of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, got inspiration from The Sopranos. One of the things I love about the pilot episode is that not a little bit while after the intro of the episode, we see Christopher meeting with a foreign guy, and then the guy does coke and Christopher shoots him behind the head. The show slaps us in the face with unexpected violence. Us, the viewers, are shocked, and we're not used to this. We didn't think that this was a regular occurrence of the crew's life and Tony Soprano's life, but the fact that it is an excellent way to get into the lore. Livia Soprano. Livia Soprano is Tony Soprano's mother, who is the most annoying character besides Janice Soprano, but we'll get into her later. Livia Soprano is one of the most hated characters in the show, and I can see why.
Go into the ham and take the carving knife and stab me. Here, now, please. It would hurt me less than what you just said.
She tried to get Tony whacked over something petty. I literally can't tell you why she wanted him whacked. From what I remember, she provoked Uncle Junior, who is my favorite character by the way, and I'll talk about him later. But nonetheless, Livia had no justified reason to whack Tony Soprano, her own flesh and blood. The show taught me one thing, is that betrayal never comes from enemies, but from your loved ones. I never would have thought in the show that Livia would whack her own son. Over what? Psychiatry? Livia Soprano was one of the main reasons why Tony kept having panic attacks.
Oh my God!
Majority of his stress came from Livia Soprano, and when Dr. Murphy pointed that out, Tony got really defensive.
They're circles.
You twisted fucking bitch. That's my mother we're talking about, not some fuck up in Attica stab you in the shower. See, we're through, you and I. We're finished. And you're lucky if I don't break your fucking face in 50,000 pieces.
And oh my god, Dr. Murphy, she is so fucking... Okay, I have to relax before I say something crazy. She is a really good character. I always saw her as Tony's intrusive thoughts, or Tony's real thoughts that just say the harsh reality. Dr. Murphy isn't saying anything new that Tony has no idea of. She says things that Tony already knows deep down inside.
So you do feel something.
Don't split hairs with me. Because I've had it with you.
I hate Livia, and it's not because she's a bad character. Trust me, she's really, really well written. But I just fucking hate her. She's annoying. Like, bro, come on. How are you gonna say that you want to die as soon as Tony, says anything? Livia, in my opinion, is like an OG rage baiter. And bro, the fact that she snitched on Tony and she told Uncle Junior that he's in a psychiatrist and the word got out.
I'm sure he's telling the psychiatrist it's all his mother's fault.
What are you talking about, a psychiatrist?
Yeah, a psychiatrist. He's been seeing one for a while now.
Oh my god, this bitch. Livia knows about the mafia, and she knows that if the word got out that Tony is seeing a psychiatrist, the risk of him dying literally rises, and Livia didn't give a shit. One thing I realized is that Tony has this devotion to her mother and this mindset that whatever the parents do is sacred and holy.
But she's my mother. You're supposed to take care of your mother. Hey, she's a good woman. She put food on that table every night. I'm the ungrateful fuck because I come here and I complain about her and I let my wife exclude her from my home.
So Tony tries to basically turn a blind eye to Livia's massive red flags, but it just doesn't work at the end of the day. He tries to choke her. And oh my god, the hospital scene, it was so good. When Tony found out that Livia wanted Tony to get whacked, oh my god, the FBI scene, wow, peak cinema, bro, peak cinema. It was so good. Tony was screaming and shouting, she's smiling, look at the look on her face.
Look at the look on her face, she's smiling.
Oh my goodness, bro. I literally can't stop glazing the show. Tony was angry, broken, and sad at the same time, and the acting was so good. And the fact that Livia was smiling, bro, that smile was so evil. Oh my god. The show did such a great job at making me hate the mother. I genuinely prayed on the mother's downfall, bro.
I want you to kill Livia Soprano.
And she was so rude to everyone, bro. She was rude to Carmela. She was rude to AJ. She told AJ that AJ's life doesn't matter.
It's all a big nothing. What makes you think you're so special?
What kind of a person says that? And then she kept trying to be the victim here, saying, I'm never gonna come to this house ever again. Shut up, mate. She kept saying she's never gonna come here, and she somehow developed Alzheimer's, and then she ended up in the Sopranos house for some fucking reason.
Why were you walking on Mountain Avenue at this hour?
She was a fucking lost old lady, bro. And low-key, I felt bad, but yeah, I didn't at the same time. Fuck that bitch.
Run to me.
The Jew with the black clothes and the curls and everything.
So, anyways, Silvio. He's the right-hand man of Tony Soprano, and he's the one that represents Tony when it comes to business meetings or just whatever. And he's so fucking cool. I remember anytime I saw him on the screen, I just knew that things were going to be smooth and structured. Anytime there's a need for a plan or structure, either Tony or Silvio come up with it and put things in order. And to me, that's so cool because I'm just tired of shows having this like group or a crew, and then there's one OP leader that does most of the work. The whole point of a crew is that it's a crew. It's supposed to work together, and they have their own unique roles and their own unique like uses. And Silvio is loyal to my boy Tony Soprano compared to that prick Paulie. And I mean, sure, Silvio did kind of disobey Tony and did kind of like make Christopher get angry at that, and he did kind of lie saying it was a miscommunication, but come on, bro. But again, he's the most loyal man Tony has. But one thing I do admire about Silvio is that he's fine with whatever role he's given, and he doesn't want to take the throne that Tony sits on because he's very glad with what he has, and he's very glad with being the right hand man of the boss. He has money, he has gumars, he has good authority. What more can you ask for? Why would he want to risk it and take the throne that could literally cost him everything? I don't think Silvio ever tried to backstab Tony and rarely pulled some petty things on him. I really love how Tony and Silvio have this like mentor and friend dynamic where Tony can literally open up to Silvio and Silvio can somewhat guide Tony and give him some good advice. And I also love how Silvio understands what's the most beneficial outcome or what is a good asset to the crew, and he lets Tony know about it. For example, when Silvio says that it's not good to keep him around and he should whack somebody.
I genuinely don't think there's anything to gain by keeping him around.
Get it done.
My love for Paulie is a love and hate relationship, and it's weird because the show lets me, through season 1 to 3, kind of like the guy. I really like his character and loyalty to Tony and his hilarious jokes in the show.
The Jew with the black clothes and the curls and everything.
They're called Hasidim. I see them, but I don't believe them.
Bro, I'm not even joking. Whenever I saw Paulie or Uncle Junior on the screen, I knew good jokes were gonna come up.
What did the blind man say when he passed the fish market?
I don't know.
Good morning, ladies.
Paulie and Uncle Junior carried the comedic aspect of the show on their backs. Their comedic timing and insults they use on others is so good.
Oh, look at that. It's like an ad for a fucking weight loss center. Before and way before.
This guy ever stop breaking balls?
But that's where the glazing ends. I always thought that Paulie was this loyal soldier that Tony had until he went to prison. And then he snitched on Ralphie for making fun of Johnny Sack's wife.
Listen, John, I just want to say, I hope your feelings weren't hurt too bad and that it never got back to the missus.
The fuck you talking about?
You didn't hear the joke about Ginny?
Now, to be fair, I think it's kind of justified. Ralphie, one of Tony's top earners, made a joke about Johnny Sack's wife, and Johnny Sack is a really powerful man in New York. So when Paulie went to prison and he basically got petty, he told Johnny Sack and kind of sabotaged or did like an espionage. And I kind of think it's justified. Now, relax, put down your gabagool and pitchforks, okay? Let me explain. The Sopranos tries to show you that mobsters have a care for the family and they have a massive respect and this like massive loyal devotion to their friend's family. Now, remember that, okay? The crew always emphasizes on respect and devotion to the elders and their friends' elders. Now, whenever Christopher, Silvio, or any of the crew visits Tony's family, they always bring gifts, they always hug Carmela, give AJ and Meadow a hello. But when it came to Paulie, and Paulie went in the can, no one really checked up on his mother. Not even Christopher, not even Tony. And Paulie was a loyal man to Tony. There's a hint of respect when they see each other's families, and if you disagree with me, then go watch the show. Bitch. Anyways, when Paulie went to prison and no one went to check up on his mother, which was a punch in the gut for him, Paulie snitched because he felt that he was disrespected. He felt that he was tossed aside as nothing, to be fair. And I kind of understand why he was petty about this, because again, if he has to pay for the consequences of working with the Soprano crew and no one in the Soprano crew just checks up on his mother, it's like, oh, what the hell? Like, you guys just toss me around like I'm nothing. Like, I've spent years with you guys. Hence why he felt this urge to basically like get his get back and tell Johnny about the joke that Ralphie made. And boy, oh boy, do I want to talk about Ralphie. Paulie and Ralphie always had this heated relationship where Ralphie just didn't take Paulie's demand seriously. For example, giving him what he owes and selling on his territory. I remember the scene when Paulie, Silvio, and Tony were waiting for Ralphie to come and discuss on the table about the money that Ralphie owes to Paulie. But when Ralphie showed up, he said this.
You're late.
Well, tomorrow I can be on time, but you'll be stupid forever.
Hey, sit down.
This may seem like a little minor outburst, but it's so much deeper than that. Tony doesn't even punish Ralphie over the comment because Tony knows that Ralphie is a top earner, unlike Paulie.
I can't believe this.
Why not? Last year you believed that flying saucer was over East Rutherford.
Paulie is a good earner, but he's nowhere near Ralphie. The thing is, Paulie is more loyal than Ralphie. Ralphie hasn't been around the crew that long, but Paulie has. And that kind of shows you that Tony doesn't care if you're a day one, he just cares if you're a good earner. And that made Tony Soprano not take Paulie's side of the argument seriously on why he deserves the money.
I'm not gonna tell you again.
T, I'm asking you to reconsider this.
Paulie, you requested a sit down. He heard you out.
Paulie then questions himself, why should I devote myself to these guys that don't even take my side, or at least hear my side out? Paulie is such a hypocrite as well, because whenever someone complains about Tony, he says, you do what you're told, when you're told. For example, when Christopher was ambushed about his meth problem, he kept saying, oh, you do what you're told when you're told, implying that he should have this blind devotion to the boss, when he clearly doesn't. Paulie is all about this like tough guy respect personality, but then when he has to respect Tony when it doesn't suit him, it's just a no-brainer for some reason, I guess.
Run to me, confess your love.
A, she was a hooer. B, she hit me.
Ralphie. The kinky ass man who was Tony's best earner. The man who loves Gladiator and the man who disrespected the Bing. When he was first introduced, I never really liked him. I always thought he was this like annoying character that won't have an impact on the story overall. And he would just be the next Richie April, just die in the season. Yeah, I didn't forget about this guy, don't worry. But anyways, Ralphie had this I'm gonna disrespect the boss and get whacked in the next episode kind of vibe. And I remember the episode when he was in the Bing waving the chain around, smacking the fat guy when everyone kept telling him to stop over and over again. But he just didn't listen. And after that, this woman who was pregnant with his kid told him that she wants to keep the baby, and he trolls her by saying that he's gonna name the boy after his name, and if it's a girl...
If it's a girl, we'll name it Tracy after you. This way she can grow up to be a cocksucking slob, just like her mother. Are you out of your fucking mind?
That's the craziest 180. And if you think that that's bad, he literally took her home, and then when Silvio came to collect her, he watched Silvio beat the living shit out of her and was laughing out the window like he saw the most funniest thing in the world. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Ralphie literally justifies killing the girl.
A, she was a hooer. B, she hit me.
Like, what? Bro, this man's a menace. But he was, again, one of the top earners that Tony had. But when he beat the girl to death, Tony always thought that the girl looked like Meadow, his daughter. And Tony didn't take that death lightly. So he beat up Ralph, and Ralph after that wanted to whack Tony because he's a made guy and he can't take disrespect like that. And it's kind of true. Ralph is a made guy and he's proven himself to be very useful, but at the same time, he's very destructive. He made enemies with Johnny Sack, a very powerful man in the show, which made Tony consider turning a blind eye and allowing Johnny Sack to basically whack Ralphie. After Tony fell to basically logically reason with him and not like Ralphie, but you know, it is what it is. And Paulie told Johnny about the fat joke, which is like, damn, you absolute rat, how could you? I mean, again, I don't blame him, but Paulie was a great episode, and I loved it because how hypocritical Tony Soprano was. Tony kept preaching about this tough guy, silent type A personality, but here he is crying over a horse.
And there she is, with her head held high and her ears perked up.
I don't understand the significance of this horse, and maybe it represents freedom, which Tony Soprano lacks, or I don't know, I'm just not trying to get deep into it. But I do think the show did an excellent job at making me look like this when Tony started crying about Paulie. And the reason is because Tony downplays the pain and struggle others are going through. For example, Furio, my sexy goat.
Give me $1,000.
I seriously love this guy. When Furio was sad about his father, Tony just said,
Alright, but you gotta get over it.
I'm thinking, okay, Tony wants Furio to be consistent with the strong silent type personality. I get that, but how are you gonna downplay his struggles when you cry over a horse? And Ralphie even points this out as well.
I don't hear you complaining when I bring you a nice fat envelope. You don't give a shit where that comes from. What are you, a vegetarian? You eat beef and sausage by the fucking carload.
Well said, my god Ralphie. Well said. Overall, I do think that Ralphie did contribute in the series, and the thing I love about The Sopranos is that nothing goes unnoticed. Every little detail, every little thing that seems insignificant actually has a significant role later into the series. The little insults don't get forgotten, and they generally cause an uproar.
It'll be the fucking game. Give me $1,000.
Furio was a great soldier to the crew and a great written character. When he was first introduced in Italy, I saw him as this elite, high-level, advanced-level soldier that served whoever he was loyal to without having any sympathy. Bro, he slapped the shit out of a kid that, like, tried to pull a stunt. And then Furio also punched a woman in the Asian massage parlor shop just because the owner didn't pay Tony enough money.
Non te preoccupa.
I love this brutal and emotionless part of Furio because it showed a true strong silent type character that Tony wished he could be, but he never was. Furio was everything that Tony dreamed of, and sometimes, in my opinion, Tony Soprano envied that.
God damn you!
But there's also a soft side to Furio that made me think, oh man, I guess the strong silent types do actually have human empathy, which adds a bit of complexity into the show. Furio loved Carmela, Tony's wife, and this was a great relationship. I was rooting for them in the show, and I really wanted Furio to get together with Carmela, because Carmela and Furio, in my opinion, they generally do like deserve each other. Furio saw Carmela as a woman and not just a wife who bore children, unlike Tony. Furio and Carmela saw each other as the perfect yin and yang. Carmela was a perfect woman that Furio wanted, and Furio was a perfect man that Carmela wanted. The way Furio also had to distance himself with Carmela just broke my heart, because the show makes you remember that Tony is the boss, and any moves on Carmela would result in Furio getting whacked, which I think ultimately Furio did get whacked. I mean, when Carmela told Tony about how she felt about Furio, Tony later then made phone calls and put a hit on Furio, basically.
Yet you are modern enough to use a cell phone to call Italy and every other fucking place to threaten the guy's life.
Well, that's right. Certain people see him. He's a dead man.
I genuinely don't think he's bluffing, by the way. Like, this is Tony we're talking about. The guy that almost whacked a person for, like, looking at him funny. He's very aggressive over the little things. So imagine what he would do if someone tried to sleep with his wife. And I remember when Furio almost ended the entire series by almost pushing Tony into the helicopter blades. The reason why Furio did that is because he truly cared for Carmela. And when Tony called her a bitch, that struck a nerve. And it's such a cool thing I want to point out. If you insult Carmela, Tony would kill you because of a respect aspect. Because you insult his wife, you ultimately insult him. In other words, Tony doesn't really care about Carmela being insulted, he cares about his reputation being insulted. This is a respect thing for Tony, but for Furio, this is a love and care thing. Furio was going to kill Tony for insulting Carmela, not because of a respect thing, but a genuine care for Carmela, unlike Tony. This just shows the kind of man Tony wishes he could have been, but he's just nothing like Furio. In my opinion, if Furio even went to Dr. Melfi would have easily fallen in love with him. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to emphasize how good of a character Furio is.
Good morning, ladies. I want to fuck Angie Dickens. See who gets lucky first.
Uncle Junior, the man who carried the comedic aspect of the show on his back. This guy is generally up there in my top 5 favorite characters of all time. He's well written because he has something the rest of the crew doesn't have, a redemption arc. Uncle Junior from the start was a strict but somewhat nice to his own people character.
You may run North Jersey, but you don't run your Uncle Junior. How many fucking hours did I spend playing catch with you?
He was always quick with his comebacks, and he always had a hard-on against Tony and Tony's father for being the boss. Uncle Junior was so deprived of power, he craved it to the point of threatening his own flesh and blood.
Out.
Next time you come in, you come heavy or not at all.
You don't mean that.
Uncle Junior did what he wanted to do and taxed who he wanted to tax.
Sometimes I wish you'd just get to the fucking point. What'd he do?
He's taxing me, Tony.
His right-hand man, who I forgot his name, was also a good soldier for Uncle Junior. Uncle Junior in season 1 was the antagonist to Tony and was the enemy to a certain extent. I mean, he literally wanted Tony whacked, for crying out loud.
Objection!
But in his defense, he did get manipulated and gaslit by Olivia, and he was also disrespected by Tony.
Whoa, Junior.
Oh, Junior what? Uncle June's in a muff.
What?
Oh, did I say muff? I meant rough. What's that smell? Did you guys go to a sushi bar?
The fuck's he talking about?
I thought you were a bacala man, Uncle June. What are you doing eating sushi?
But Uncle Junior wasn't a saint as well. He did also step on people's toes and expected them to be quiet about it. His relationship with Tony was so bad to the point where there was mutual hatred. Until
Richie April is moving against you.
He doesn't have the balls. How do I know you're not playing me?
Believe what you want, my little nephew. But if I didn't come to you, your fucking wife would be a widow and your children wouldn't have no father.
I'm grateful to you.
Uncle Junior redeemed himself and became a wise old figure to Tony. Uncle Junior slowly stops being in the mob and he rebuilds his relationship back with Tony. He hasn't whacked anybody and he just attends meetings to de-escalate situations. For example, the Johnny Sacks situation. And when Uncle Junior got Alzheimer's, I genuinely wanted him to be safe and not to die. The show made me see Uncle Junior as a villain who I wanted to be stopped in season 1, but now the show has changed my mind and views on him, making me feel bad for him.
There's the coyote.
I mean, don't you love me?
The way the show makes you change your views on characters is perfectly done since it's unexpected but amazing at the same time. Moral of the story is that Uncle Junior is great and he's one of my favorite characters. Jackie Jr. is a perfect example of a character that made me think small things won't contribute to the story and will be forgotten in the long term. It started off as dating Meadow and it's nothing too serious until the plot picked up on Jackie Jr. trying to get back with Meadow while trying to get in the life of his father, Jackie April, which is basically being in the mob. I.e., he wanted to become a respected member, a made man, because he was failing all of his classes.
Just say the word, my fucking pleasure.
Why don't you go grab us some coffee?
Come on, are you kidding?
Now, Jackie Jr. is an interesting case because Tony Soprano has a lot of involvement into this. When Jackie Jr. was caught trying to sell some drugs in Adriana's new place, Tony Soprano was outraged by this.
He's the heir apparent. I don't want him mixed up in this shit. I promised his own man. Look, he's not suited to it.
And he gave Jackie Jr. multiple warnings to stop what he's doing and never look positively on the mob life. He consistently told Jackie to go to college and be a good kid and be a good man to Meadow. Mind you, Tony genuinely tried to keep him off his gang life, but Jackie just didn't listen.
I was at a bachelor party. I got dragged here. I didn't even want to come.
That's exactly what the fuck we talked about the other day. Now get your money and get the fuck out of here.
Sorry, Tony.
I don't want to see you here again.
You won't.
But did Tony warn him because he actually had care for Jackie Jr. or did he do it for the sake of his daughter? This, again, think is a respect aspect for Tony. I don't think he cares about Meadow, nor does he really care about Jackie Jr. I just think he's doing it to basically secure his reputation. Because again, this is a made man we're talking about. If you cheat on a made man's daughter, you're basically insulting their reputation. And when Tony was really angry that Jackie was cheating on Meadow, this kind of made me realize that Tony kind of subconsciously condemned himself. Okay, now wait, hear me out. Tony cheats on Carmela so many times, I lost count, okay? And it's fine because he's the boss, right? But when Jackie Jr. does it, it's bad because that's his daughter being cheated on. Tony subconsciously sees the hypocrisy and he hates himself for it. And notice how every character's flaws always has a link back to Tony Soprano. And that's because he's the main issue. Now, I do want to talk about my boy, Christopher.
Talk to me. This ain't like your kid. What's going on, Chrissy?
You ever feel like nothing good was ever gonna happen to you?
Yeah, and nothing did. So what? I'm alive, I'm surviving.
That's it. I don't want to just survive. It says in these movie writing books that every character has an arc. You understand? Like everybody starts out somewheres, then they do something, or something gets done to them, changes their life. That's called their arc. Where's my arc, Paulie?
Christopher is, oh my god, the best character I've ever witnessed in the show. And the reason is because he's a young fella who got groomed into the mafia business, as Tony confesses, by the way, to Dr. Melfi, and Christopher wants to become a made man. The episode where he tells the movie director some information about the mob life because his life was so authentic to the director was such a great way to show that Christopher wanted to keep telling stories and he wanted to become more than just a mob leader. He wanted to be more than just a soldier. He wanted to expand. He wanted to become a famous star. In episode 1, that was the whole point of Christopher's character. He wanted to become a man that could sell his story and make millions. Christopher's desire to act and produce movies was such a fun watch, and I hope to see more of it in maybe season 6. I see Christopher as this caged character wanting to expand, but Tony is trying to bring him down and he's going to keep him down. But the show perfectly executes and shows you how Christopher is such a talented young man, but his talents are being wasted. Now, I'm not saying Christopher doesn't want to be in the crew himself. He literally admitted that that was the dream.
There was a time in my life when being with the Tony Soprano crew was all I ever dreamed of.
But Christopher wants an arc. This scene was so well made because it shows you Christopher's view on being a soldier for Tony. Christopher believes that he should have been a made man many years ago, and it's evident that Tony just doesn't want to help him because, again, who's gonna be his little maid? Christopher wants to stick up for Tony and wants to be a good asset to Tony and the crew, but he doesn't want to just stay as the asset.
I am your soldier, Antonio. This is my duty, like we're always talking about.
The way this went down, this is my call. I gotta vouch for this myself.
Clipping a famous rat would put me a cunt hair away from being made.
He might have recognized me at the gas station. He could lam anytime.
I love this authentic side of Christopher where he wants to get his hands dirty to prove to the world of mobsters that he has what it takes to become a captain, which later he replaces pussy. Right now, I'm on the part where Christopher thinks that Tony slept with Adriana and he tries to shoot up the Bing, but Tony's goons basically take him away to the field and Tony was literally going to kill him.
You draw down on the boss of a fucking family? Huh?
You lied to me! You were scoring coke with her. She admitted it.
So what? I can't relieve stress every once in a while. I don't got enough fucking problems.
You sent me to North Carolina so you could fuck my girlfriend.
What kind of fucking animal you think I am? The thought never even entered my head.
You're a man. You're alone in a car with her.
You fucking pushed me to this. You pushed me to this.
Way I see it, Tony, he must have known the gun was empty. Look what he pumped into your car. What are you trying to say, Paulie? The fuck are you trying to say, Paulie?
That was intense. It shows that family or not, one outrage at the boss will potentially cost you your entire life. Even Tony's cousin was threatened by Tony, and that's his actual blood-related cousin.
What I'm talking about, all that Reggie Van Gleason, boy, you fat. Things have changed around here. I'm the boss of this fucking family.
And just to clarify, Christopher isn't a fallen angel being abused. He also abuses other people like Adriana. When the slightest inconvenience happens, Christopher always resorts to physical abuse or just cheating on her. Christopher also views Tony like a father figure, and that's the dynamic I love to see. One thing I love is when Christopher calls out Tony's hypocrisy and lack of leadership being shown when Jackie robbed the crew when they were playing cards. Christopher also calls out Tony's inconsistency during the drug problem ambush.
Yeah, remember last winter in the woods with the Russian guy?
Christopher, I'm fucking warning you.
There he goes, Mr. Type A personality.
We are here to talk about you killing yourself with drugs, not my fucking personality.
That's right. I'm gonna kill myself? The way you fucking are, you're gonna have a heart attack by the time you're 50.
And Tony gets upset at the fact that Christopher sees exactly what Tony is. A broken character that's deluding himself into changing. And now we're talking about the main man himself. Tony is a hypocrite and a horrible individual, but somehow the show made me want to root for him and made me want to see more of his life. Bear in mind, this guy is not a good guy. He's genuinely evil. This isn't like a deep analysis video, by the way. I'm just ranting. So right now I'm freeballing, but Tony, from what I've seen in season 5, is a genuinely broken character that wants to change, but won't admit the issues and the problems. Well, sometimes he does, but that's not the point. The point is that whenever someone does an immoral act and Tony condemns it, it's always because it goes against his interest. For example, Tony is fine with mocking and insulting people, but whenever his guys insult people that goes against his business partners, that's evil, that's immoral, you shouldn't do that. But then he does the same thing. He's such a hypocrite, and then he starts pointing fingers to show right and wrong. This shows how selfish and greedy the man really is, and the guy's loyal friend Paulie, who was ignored and denied his money, by the way, because Ralphie was a good earner, and Ralphie suited his interests more than Paulie did, so he takes money over just loyalty and friendship. Tony also talks down on his crew like they're nothing, but in reality, without the crew's help, Tony Soprano wouldn't have been a made man.
She's a knockout. A 10. And look at you. You're average at best.
The Sopranos crew is famous because of a team effort. It's not just what Tony did. Tony's a great leader and no one's denying that, trust me. But when he talks down on Christopher and other people in the crew, it shows that he doesn't have any appreciation to his crew. But at the same time he does, which kind of makes him a complex character. He can't really make up his mind and he's battling his own hypocrisy. One thing I love about Tony and the show is that whenever anyone, including Tony, whenever he hugs someone, there's a sense of love and respect. But I was wrong to think this. Tony Soprano could hug you 1 second and then the next second, he could literally threaten to pull your teeth out. It's like this whole respect and love and appreciation this show is temporary, but as soon as you do something that is not in their best interest, they're gonna start threatening you and saying they're gonna skin you alive. One of the things I realized is that Tony always claims that he does the things he does because of his family, but that's not always true. He cheats on Carmela for the family's sake? Like, huh? And then he tells Dr. Melfi that he has to do the things he does. Like, no, you don't have to cheat on Carmela. Tony could literally be a loyal man just like Johnny Sack. He could be a loyal man like Bobby, but he just chooses not to. And one thing I realized is that justice is rarely delivered to the victims in the show. In season 1, an old man's grandson died because Tony's friends had an earner that sold drugs to the kid.
Piece of shit. He gets to walk the streets and sell more of this stuff to young kids.
Oh, really? What's this motherless fuck's name?
And Uncle Junior, being the GOAT, the man he is, he got the Irish earner to be killed and Tony had a problem with it because that went against his friend's interest.
A friend of ours should have checked with me before he did a favor for the old man Capri.
You're losing me.
Irish was the one who sold Capri's grandson that shit.
I think you created a fucking Frankenstein in Junior.
But the thing is, if that was Meadow, then he would have had the Irish earner whacked, and there would be no problem. But despite all the negative things I'm saying about Tony, I still want to see him move forward with his life, and I do want to basically root for him. Because again, he's the main character, and the show somehow made me want to see more of Tony Soprano, even though he's a horrible individual. Like I said, I'm on season 5, and I will be on season 6 very soon, so who knows what will happen then. But maybe I'll love Paulie again, I don't know. Honorable mentions, Richie Aprile, the freaky, deaky ass mobster who went back with Tony's sister and got shot by her. The only man that died by Janice, by the way. Imagine being a made man and then you get killed by that. I hate Richie because he's so well written. I really like the way Tony showed Richie that this old school way of mobs running things is over and the new generation that Tony resides in is more stronger now and doesn't take bullshit from the old school mobs.
You want to talk all this old school bullshit about the rules? Well, here's a rule you might remember. I'm the motherfucking one who calls the shots.
Richie Aprile was an OG without the respect of being an OG. He paralyzed a man for simply telling Tony about Richie beating him up. Tony stands up to him and tells him to jog on. Richie ultimately is powerless and has no special authority he once had. Now he's just left behind, shot by Janice, no one to remember him. And one thing I hate is how Richie and Janice get together and they both become insufferable.
I am conquesting it. I am conquesting it. I am conquesting.
I really hate Tony's sister. She's so annoying and all she does is bring trouble to the show and she only brings trouble to Tony's life. She stole the Russian girl's leg and after the Russian men take it back, Tony has to now kill them. Not because he cares about Janice, but because of a respect thing again.
What did I tell you? I told you not to mess with those people. This is all I fucking need. Thanks, Janice. What do you mean, what? They slapped my sister around. I'm gonna have to get payback. It's always something when you, isn't it? Every time I hear your voice on that phone, I know it's gonna cost me. Time. Money. You never do anything to simplify my life.
And Janice is such a fucking hoe. Because, bro, she gets with everyone in every season. She got with Richie. She got with this random Christian guy that falls asleep. She got with this random college kid. She got with Bobby. She got with Ralphie. Have a fucking break. Relax. There's enough sausages in the world. And to make things worse, she tries to get into Bobby's pants after Bobby lost her wife in a car accident. Even the kids don't like her, and that says a lot. The actor is very talented, though, because she did what exactly the show wanted her to do, and it's to become a annoying character. Bobby's a nice guy and he takes care of Junior. Big Pussy is alright. I mean, I don't remember much of him. In fact, I don't think he had a lot of screen time. I was heartbroken that he was a snitch, and I do think that we should have gotten a bit more of Pussy's character. And I do kind of feel bad at the boat scene where he got shot, but I have to give credit where credit is due. He did play a very satisfactory role in the series, and he did contribute to the plot, so yeah, that's really it. AJ is a character that makes my blood boil, not because he's a bad character, but he's annoying and he's spoiled. He's the result of nepotism and always getting what he wants, so he just never tries. And the lying. Tony raised AJ in such an environment where his actions can be excused over and over again because his dad's the boss. It can just make it go away. Carmela also complains about that, but Tony buys him anything and just keeps making the problems go away for AJ. AJ always wants something, and if he doesn't get it, he'll give you a toxic attitude. I remember watching The Sopranos and AJ ran upstairs and Carmela was chasing him. And then when Carmela sprained her ankle, AJ didn't do anything. AJ thinks that ignoring the problem is just gonna magically fix itself, which just isn't the case. AJ failed school, and why should he care? The problem go away and Tony will buy him a car. I wonder what happens with AJ in season 6, and I really hope that nothing bad happens to him, because again, he's a nice character. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about AJ. Boy, where do I start? Carmela, in my opinion, is a victim. She's a good mother who genuinely wants the best for Tony and the kids, but she gets treated like garbage. And whenever she gets angry about it, she's now the bad guy. I remember the scene where Tony and Carmela went over to Meadow's place and they greet the other students, and then Carmela was crashing out, losing her mind, and Tony, for the first time, was being normal. Tony, out of all the people, was trying to put her in check, giving her this judgmental look. Carmela, in my opinion, has every right to get with another man and leave Tony Soprano behind, because Tony just treats her as a trophy, just a child bearer, just his wife, not Carmela herself. The scene where she even asks herself, what am I missing that the Gumars have that I don't, really broke my heart. And that's why I think Furio is a perfect man for Carmela. If Carmela and Furio were together, AJ wouldn't have been the way he is, but then again, I don't know, maybe he will. I just think that Carmela is living the worst life where her kids don't even respect her and her husband just cheats on you and can't stay loyal. Anyways, that's it. Maybe next month I'll make a video talking about the entire series and how I finished it, because most likely this video will be out when I finish season 6 as well, so yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please join the Discord, please subscribe, comment whatever you want to see.
I told her it's only a matter of time. Turn this into the 6 dice, 8 shot, I tell her phone her now, but she can't see my face. And you